Folks, I consider it my sworn duty to protect you from the lowbrow brain rot that's sweeping over this dying planet. In a time when AI slop is on the rise, I consider it my sworn duty to deliver you strictly human-made slop. I am a brain rot connoisseur of sorts, a slop sommelier. And today I have something truly special for you, something we offer only our most highly valued guests. Please, sir, madam, take a look at our most finest vintage When My Ex Becomes My Gynecologist. Now, I've gotten a bunch of ads for this thing on TikTok. Perhaps you have as well.
Are your periods irregular?
Yeah, how did you know that?
Your skin is dull. Pigmentation is a classic sign for an endocrine imbalance.
Well, presumably that's the gynecologist, and he can tell. He can tell because her skin looks terrible. Like, so dull. I mean, get yourself some moisturizer, girl, damn. But I mean, I'm already hooked, though. And there's a bunch of these different slop streaming apps that do these vertical shows, all of which are just different flavors of lobotomy. And a couple notes right out of the gate, if you do decide to download one of these vertical show streaming apps, which you shouldn't do, but if you do, just make sure you turn off notifications, because holy shit are they needy. Even the Duolingo owl was less clingy than Dream Short and Drama Box, just blowing me up with notifications to check in and watch Pucked by My Brother's Rival. Yes, Pucked by My Brother's Rival. Mom, can we watch Heated Rivalry? No, Timmy. We have Heated Rivalry at home. Also, this shit is not cheap. A subscription to these apps is like $20 a week, which I paid like a champ, so you better watch this video all the way to the end so I can print those YouTube tendies. But $80 a month for cinematic masterpieces such as After I Buy Sperm from a Billionaire and After I Gave Lost Billionaire Mouth to Mouth. I don't even think that's English. Also, speaking of AI slop, a lot of these shows on these platforms are AI generated, which for $80 a month, dude, you could just generate your own show. $80 a month plus boiling the ocean, but that's neither here nor there. Instead of watching The Rogue Alpha and the Werewolf King on Dream Short.
In the corner watching as the two warriors circle me, trying to make me nervous.
She looks so tiny, Jackson. How long do you think it'll take to break her?
Well, I've already been broken and it's only been 10 seconds of this show. I didn't edit this at all, by the way. This is actually what this show looks like, and it's fucking horrific.
The two main people in front are the Beta and Gamma, guessing by their aura.
But anyway, we're not here for soulless Microsoft PowerPoint werewolf freak shows. We're here to speedrun Hippocratic Oath violations. Enter the gynecologist's office. The show starts out in a flashback with our main character Grace Bowen running into a church where her boyfriend, Blade Corvin, told her to meet him. Yes, his name is Blade Corvin. Grace assumes that he's going to propose to her at the church, but instead finds Blade making out with her classmate, Sophie Kane. Now, this whole thing's a misunderstanding. Sophie went in for the kiss herself, Blade was not into it, and Sophie is also high-key a serial killer, as we'll find out later. But Grace runs away thinking that Blade actually likes this girl instead. And right out of the gate, none of this makes any sense whatsoever. Like, why is Grace wearing a wedding dress in this scene? It's very obvious that this entire scene was meant to be Blade marrying Grace and then Grace walking in on her bridesmaid, making out with her to-be husband. But instead they changed the story in the voiceover and now it makes no sense whatsoever. And so 23 seconds in and this movie is already gaslighting you, which is appropriate because they're trying to get you prepared for the next hour and a half. Fast forward 5 years and Grace is headed to her appointment at the gynecologist.
Hi, doctor. I'm experiencing a bit of pain down there.
Dr. Corvin's one of the top gynecologists in the world.
Yes, not only did her ex-boyfriend apply to medical school, get in, graduate, and become a doctor in the 5 years since she's seen him, but he is also one of the top gynecologists in the world. Reminder, it takes 4 years to get through medical school, and at least a couple years of residency after that. But apparently this guy is a prodigy, the coochie cure, in demand around the world. Yeah, the sensual music zoomed in on his masked face is really something special.
I didn't expect you'd still be a virgin.
He said, damn, girl, you get no play at all. We're in our late 20s now. I mean, you get no action whatsoever? Blade said, no bitches? No bitches alert? I like how there was no intake or paperwork either. She just walked straight to the doctor, whose office just appears to be an ER set that they had left over. Anyway, Grace runs out of there before getting a call from her sister saying that she needs Grace to cover for her for a class that's being guest lectured. Grace's sister, who is still in college, is calling her almost 30-year-old older sister to be like, I need you to cover me in a class so I don't lose attendance points. And Grace says yes. This honestly might be the most unrealistic part of the movie, and that's saying something. Anyway, Grace shows up, and guess who's the guest lecturer?
Here, sorry, I'm Anna. Ballin.
So not only is Blade a world-famous gynecologist, he also moonlights as a university professor, apparently teaching undergraduate gynecology 101, which we all know is a core requirement for any liberal arts degree. He then takes Grace on stage and does like a demonstration on her, revealing that she has abdomen pain again.
Ow!
So, she has an STD.
What the f*** is that beat drop?
An STD.
What kind of college students are these, man? A stomach ache? She must be a
She has an STD. Her personal life must be a mess.
That's the vibe in Gynecology 101.
We should never equate women's health with shame. Understood? Class dismissed.
Yes, my woke king. Yes, class dismissed. And then Grace and Blade talk, and he's like, yo, why'd you ghost me 5 years ago? Which would be a perfect time for him to explain the kiss with Sophie. But of course, if he did explain himself, then we wouldn't be able to get another 60 parts out of this movie. So, of course, that goes nowhere. And then the next day, or the next week, or the next year, I don't know, time isn't real in this universe, Grace is at her job as a real estate agent and gets fired immediately. Because once again, she has that stomach pain, which you're not allowed to have stomach aches in this world. And so she gets fired by her boss, Gyereg Smith. They meant that.
She probably caught something nasty. No one's gonna want to buy from her now.
You're fired!
Look, I'm just saying, they really do not like people with stomach pain in this world. It's just, if you have a stomach pain, you must be a dirty, filthy, devious and you shouldn't be trusted or employed. But I don't know, maybe they're just setting up the sequel, Saved by the Alpha Gastroenterologist. Grace then begs for her job, saying she'll be homeless without it, to which Gyereg says, fine, then you need to sell this $30 million house right now, which is impossible. How is she going to do that? Is the client with $30 million just going to walk through the door right there?
30 million. I'll take it.
Dude, how much does being a gynecologist fucking pay? $30 million house, that's a layup for this guy. Dr. Blade Corvin, not only is he the LeBron James of gynecology, but he also sees 900 patients a day, I would assume.
Can you even afford this property?
It's just down payment. The rest is mortgage.
Are you serious? It's a $30,000 monthly payment.
And that is why you will be my roommate.
Oh yeah, so sexy. Don't worry, girl. I just put us $30 million in debt. This is his plan to win the girl of his dreams back by putting her in a generational financial hole. You're gonna be my roommate now to help me pay this shit off, girl. And I did it for you. And sorry for continuing to be the plot hole police here, but also a $30 million house would not be a $30,000 mortgage. The payment on that shit would be more like $150,000 a month. But math doesn't matter when you have the power of love and the ability to sensually apply an antifungal cream.
I'm a gynecologist, okay?
Okay, and I think this was the scene where I physically started to have a stroke and just like blacked out for a little bit because my notes start to look like the walls of a 1950s mental hospital for a little bit after this.
Grace, you slept with your client yet? It's only one night. How hard can it be?
What the f, Gyereg? Where did you learn this kind of professionalism, man? Gynecology school? Gyereg then fires Grace again for not being willing to personally sign this mortgage and become a medieval concubine to her ex-boyfriend. But then a new face walks in. Enter Kevin Cohen, Grace's, for some reason, ultra-wealthy German stepbrother. So Kevin walks in and announces that he bought the real estate agency that Grace works at. To which Gyereg is like, great news, sir. We were actually about to make you a lot of money by out your sister. Oh, and also Kevin definitely wants Grace.
I didn't tell you anything, just to see that look on your face. My little sister.
Jail, jail, jail. I wanted to see that look on your face, my beautiful sister. That's what a German accent sounds like, by the way. Then Kevin and Blade have a pissing match, but Grace leaves with Blade. Blade is clearly jealous over Kevin, but Grace doesn't explain that Kevin's just her stepbrother, because again, we have 50 parts to go. Then they start getting smoochy until Blade gets a call from Sophie, the girl who kissed him 5 years ago in that church. Also, Grace and Blade are now officially roommates in this house that they'll be paying off for 4 lifetimes. But Blade still isn't satisfied unless he can also still be her gynecologist, to the point that he lines up a bunch of other gynecologists that work in his hospital who are all male and, more importantly, unfuckable, to basically be like, see, Grace, who do you really want to be your gynecologist now? One of these ugly freaks or me, Blade Corvin?
Don't you people have any female doctors?
Yeah, I was just wondering that too. Is there not a single female gynecologist in this building? Well, apparently there is exactly one, and she rushes in and grabs Grace's goods like she's Donald Trump in 2016.
You should better get your hands out of another woman's vagina.
Okay, so hold on. So the female gynecologist, villain reveal, is actually Sophie, that girl who kissed Blade 5 years ago, who was also Grace's classmate. And she is also apparently Blade's fiance, and is also shocked to find out that her gynecologist fiance does gynecology exams. Take a shot every time I say gynecology, by the way. Anyway, Grace slaps both of them and leaves. Into the arms of Kevin, of course, who is creepily hanging out in the bushes outside the hospital. And then double reveal, Sophie actually isn't Blade's fiance. She's just making that up. Because again, she's a serial killer.
I never was or will be your fiance. All right, you broke hospital rules today, and I'm reporting you.
Yeah, I don't know if she broke hospital rules so much as she committed violent assault. But okay. But Sophie still has feelings for Blade, clearly. And even though she's not actually his fiance, she's manifesting. Manifesting so hard, in fact, that she decides the only rational course of action is to f***ing kill Grace. Oh, my bad. She's not just gonna kill her, she's also gonna steal her uterus.
Once I take this uterus, we will see how you keep seducing my fiance.
And she also has evil henchwomen nurses to help her.
Let me go.
And also the tool she's going to use to commit the murder is a plastic knife from the cafeteria with ketchup smeared all over it. Oh no, not disposable cutlery. There's only one thing Grace fears more than death, and that's single-use plastics. My environmental queen. Stop! Yay, Blade saves the day again. And we are now officially a third of the way through this movie. And then Kevin shows up at the hospital and he and Blade get into another pissing contest over who likes Grace more. I don't understand these like Looney Tunes ass sound effects too. I'm not adding these. This is how this is edited.
She won't eat yours either.
Anyway, then Sophie tries to kill Grace again because for some reason Sophie is still at the hospital and not in a prison cell. And then Grace and Blade make out because that hospital lighting plus the feeling of almost getting murdered twice in a row in a day by your ex-boyfriend's insane fake fiance is what really sets the mood. And then Sophie's father, who owns the hospital, and who's also not Russian at all, even though Sophie speaks in a Russian accent, shows up and is like, don't worry, I'm gonna take care of my daughter. You'll never have to see from her again.
Why should I apologize? I was the person to destroy that bitch that stole my life!
Mother passed when she was very young.
Oh, I mean, her mother passed when she was very young. Listen, it's a known thing that happens. She grew up without a mom, therefore she likes committing homicide. Like a lot. It's a common issue. We're working through it as a family.
Ovarian function can sometimes improve with regular sexual activity.
This guy needs to lose his medical license and be arrested because Blade convinces his virgin ex-girlfriend / roommate to sleep with him because he tells her it's good for ovarian function. Let me remind you, this is a romance movie and this guy is the protagonist, or like the guy you're supposed to be rooting for. And then of course Kevin calls, which disturbs this lustful conversation about ovarian function.
Grace? Hang up the phone now. Good girl.
Jail. Jail. And then we go to Kevin's POV from the executive cuck chair.
Grace, what's going on?
Hang up the phone.
Grace, talk to me.
Yeah, just straight up not having a good time. Then Blade lathers himself up in oil for no reason. And then Kevin shows up at the house for another pissing contest. And once again, Grace is like, listen, you scrawny, frosted tips, German little bitch. I picked the creepy gynecologist who has no sense of medical ethics and a killer clown stalker fake fiance because I love him.
He bought this $30 million beautiful mansion to help me keep my job.
Well, again, Grace, he didn't really buy you the house. You bought the house, too. He pressured you into signing a mortgage for this thing, and now you're both in debt, which is not the same as buying you a house. And also, you didn't even need to sign this or do this, because also now your stepbrother owns the company you work for, so obviously he would not have made you do this if you didn't want to do it. Now that I think of it, I might have had 2 strokes watching this movie. Anyway, the next day, Blade proposes to Grace, which, wow, this relationship is moving fast.
Will you marry me?
You sure about that?
And then they have a nice romantic dinner at home where Blade gives Grace her engagement gift.
Wait, this is a black card. This thing has like tens of millions of dollars on it.
Okay, so once again, that's not how a credit card works. I love how every gift from Blade is just more debt. Thank you, Blade. Thank you for this $30 million mortgage. And now this credit card that has apparently a $10 million line of credit on it. Like, Blade, you know you have to pay that stuff back, man, right? Like, dude, why do you even work at the hospital anymore? You unlocked the infinite money glitch. Called taking out loans. And then the next day they go to a tasting for food for their wedding, which again, this is really moving fast. But guess who shows up?
Women like you don't deserve a man like Blade. A man used to steak and champagne doesn't settle for some drive-through crap, right?
Can you guys just like get like a restraining order or just call the police, like all of them? Because in the very next scene, Blade goes to a work conference in a different city, hopefully a summit on professionalism in medicine, and Sophie is waiting for him in his hotel room in a sexy nurse costume.
What are you doing here?
What is she doing there?
It is a conference, isn't it? Of course, I'm here to conference with you.
Now look, at this point, I'm actually rooting for Sophie. You have to respect dedication and grit. This is a woman who is fearless, who is a go-getter. She has recruited nurses to help her commit murder. She has tracked the man of her dreams to a different city, down to his hotel room, and gotten into the room before even he did. This is a woman who knows what she wants and is unapologetic. And I support that.
I know I should trust him, but it still hurts.
Yeah, Grace, I'm glad that you trust your fiance to not sleep with the killer clown who creeped into his hotel room. Like, no need to call the police whatsoever. You just saw your fiance get surprise attacked in his hotel room. But really, the only question here is if you can trust Blade to not be like, I'm really into murdering sociopaths. Anyway, Grace turns out to be pregnant, and then we go straight to an engagement party the next day, which appears to be in the conference room of a Ramada Inn, which makes sense. I mean, this bride and groom-to-be is now in more debt than the United States government, so they're gonna have to tighten their belt somewhere. So this is what we get, a Party City clearance aisle engagement party.
He's the #1 catch in town, hot, wealthy, talented.
Whoever marries him must have ended a war in a past life.
How do you get invited to an engagement party and not know who the bride is? Like, who invited these people? And then Sabrina, who you might remember as the other evil realtor, does the whole, like, speak now or forever hold your tea, even though this is not a wedding again, so okay.
Hey everyone! Look at this woman. She's promiscuous and got no morals.
Oh my god, she's been exposed for hugging both her fiance and her stepbrother. Now granted, Kevin has been acting a little weird this whole movie, which we are now putting in air quotes, but we're gonna need more evidence than just a hug, Sabrina.
Kevin isn't just Grace's boss. He's also her stepbrother, and besides being a step-siblings, they are engaged in incest and got her pregnant.
Okay, so apparently Sophie somehow caught an invite to this thing. So basically in this scene, it's a Sabrina-Sophie setup where they're accusing Grace of being pregnant with Kevin's child. And you know, obviously nobody is buying these unfounded allegations, especially not Grace's own family and friends.
Holy shit, she's a 2-timing cheater.
She's a straight-up whore.
Oh, okay, never mind. They are definitely buying this. This is not so much a court of law as it is a modern Salem witch trials, and people are grabbing their pitchforks. And then Kevin and Blade do some of the worst fake fighting against random security guards who I don't even know whose side these people are on. And then Sophie grabs Grace and is like, listen, all of these hospital bigwigs are here. You're gonna get on stage and admit you deduced these 2 guys, or this scandal is gonna ruin Blade's career. Admit you deduced him, harlot. Only a Jezebel would use the inference of particular instances by reference to a general law or principle. And so Grace gets on stage to make this fake confession, and people are like throwing cake and champagne at her.
He really did a favor for the people with this one.
This was this actress's dream role when she showed up in Hollywood. Obviously. Just the way she goes, with this one?
With this one.
With this one.
If these sluts aren't exposed, who knows whose husband she'll be sleeping with?
And then Grace lies and said she seduced Dr. Corvin, blah, 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 blah.
So it's confirmed. She's a slut.
Again, I did not edit that. That zoom in and sound effect is in this movie.
So it's confirmed. She's a slut.
It's confirmed. She's
How dare she ruin such a perfect golden couple like Dr. Corvin and Sophie? This woman must be canceled.
Yeah, there's also a reporter at this engagement party. This engagement party is open to the press, who covers religiously the engagements of real estate agents and gynecologists at the La Quinta Inn.
Oh my God, that skank. This is beyond shameless. This is criminal.
Yeah, her name is Grace Bowen, and we're gonna blast this scandal to the ends of the earth, especially to your friends and family.
I swear to God, this scene goes on for like 2 minutes. Just a room full of extras finding every synonym for in the English language, which I get it. This is probably where like 90% of the budget for this movie went, was in hiring these 7 extras. So get your money's worth, guys. But of course, Kevin and Blade dramatically walk back into the room, presumably after John Wick style murdering all these security guards outside. And they sternly set the record straight.
For the record, I don't understand why some women find joy in tearing other women down.
Yes, dude, my king again. Why do some women just love tearing other women down? My queens, why attempt murder and frame people for incest when sisterhood is an option?
Yes, I love my stepsister. But not like that.
I can't do this. I can't do this.
Seems like Sophie's making up stories out of pettiness because she's obsessed with Dr. Corvin.
Great audio quality on this, guys. Really good. I mean, I love the way that this sounds like it was recorded with a potato.
Out of pettiness because she's obsessed with Dr. Corvin.
And then the police finally show up and just take Blade's word for everything and basically arrest everybody except for the weird f***ed up menage a trois on stage. At which point Blade is like, let's just tie the knot right here. You have cake smeared all over you, you're pregnant, and apparently everybody in your life who showed up to this party f***ing hates you. But you know, your cuck stepbrother is here, so let's just tie the knot right here. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. Like, just wrap it up. Why is there still 5 episodes after this? Well, because Grace still has to push this baby out. And apparently it's time for some wacky brother-in-law dialogue hijinks.
Hey, oh my God, just save the mother, please.
Shut up. Okay, no one is dying. We're about to administer the epidural.
Fine. I'll allow it. 3 minutes left in this thing and I finally cracked a smile.
Milk tea, burger, and her favorite chips.
You think she wants a burger while she's pushing a human out of her vagina?
It was more like a smirk even. And then we get a scene of Grace and Blade pawning off their clearly fake baby to Kevin, who has truly been reduced to a husk of a man at this point. And with Kevin watching the kid, Blade takes Grace back to their old college, where they make out in the hallway for old time's sake. And the end. Wow. What an experience. And I remember feeling after watching this love letter to the arts, that this might be the best $20 I've ever spent. And that feeling is still with me right now. That feeling, along with a general sense of malaise and seething anger, but we're just gonna push those 2 down. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned a lot, because I sure did. And you know, if you're a gynecologist watching this, I think you should probably go speak with a lawyer, because you could probably seek damages over this.